You're involved in a divorce and you're about ready to hire an attorney. What are some of the most important things that you should consider in hiring an attorney? And why should you consider hiring John K. Grubb and Associates to represent you in a divorce? There are about 4 or 5 factors that are critical in a divorce as far as your decision to hire an attorney. Your attorney needs to be able to devote the time to your case that's important. Your attorney needs to be able to devote effort to your case. Your attorney needs to have the skills to handle your case properly. Your attorney needs to be able to have a good reputation with his fellow or her fellow attorneys and with the courts. Your attorney needs wisdom, and your attorney needs to be able to develop and continuously adjust a strategy for your case. When you deal with time, attorneys manage their practices differently. I made the decision many years ago not to handle a high volume of cases. I think it's important to devote time to my clients' cases so that I can address my clients' concerns, prepare my client's case, work with the other attorney, try to diffuse situations, devote myself to working with the courts, and so that I can overall manage and handle your case. I found in many cases devoting time early in a case is the most productive thing that can be done for a client. It puts the client in the position to where the client operates from an educated base and where decisions can be made throughout the case based upon early knowledge. In addition to devoting time, it's a matter of devoting effort. There are a number of different rules that have to be complied with. When you're involved in a divorce, you've got the family code that one has to comply with. You've got the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. You've got various forms. You've got individual courts that have individual requirements. Your attorney has to exert the effort to comply with those requirements and to make certain that your case fits all of the necessary prerequisites of the court so that you can get a good outcome either through settlement or through trial. Additionally, your attorney has to have skills. I have worked diligently over the years to maintain my skills. I happen to be fortunate in that I have a Bachelor's of Business Administration in Finance and Accounting, an MBA, and a law degree. Based on my education alone, I have a tremendous depth and understanding of complex problems. Additionally, I am board certified by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization as a civil trial law specialist. Finally, I'm recognized by an entity called Martindale-Hubbell, which is a peer review committee, and I maintain and have for over 25 years what is called an AV rating, which is the highest rating for ethics and for skills. Once you have an attorney that is willing to devote time, effort, has the skills to your case, then the next thing that you need is an attorney that has wisdom. That's something that is hard to judge. Each attorney has a different approach. Each client considers wisdom to be a different matter. However, my experience has been that having handled a number of cases of all sorts of complex situations, having dealt with clients for many years, having dealt with courts for many years, an attorney eventually acquires a high degree of wisdom that permits that attorney to guide you through the divorce process. It permits you to benefit from years and years of knowledge. I think it's very important for the attorney to keep in mind, this is your only case. The attorney's had many cases over the years. If the attorney is willing to take the time and effort to share with you some of the things that he or she has learned over the years, it's important. I pride myself in taking the time to work with my clients to develop a good strategy for their case. I try to figure out what their issues are, what the legal problems are going to be, what are going to be the impediments to settlement, or what are going to be the incentives to settlement. I also try to figure out the psychology of the other side. From that, I develop strategies, and those strategies are constantly evolving over the years. and they are constantly evolving over the tenure of the client's case. Sometimes you have to adjust your strategies halfway through the case, 3/4 through the case. I've had to adjust strategies and advise clients to adjust strategies in the middle of mediation and during the middle of trial. However, all of these adjustments are based upon a knowledge of the client's specific case, my knowledge of the law, my knowledge of the court, my knowledge of the Court of Appeals, and my knowledge of general outcomes to be expected. The final thing you should look at in hiring an attorney is reputation. Why should you be concerned about an attorney's reputation? Because the attorney's reputation is going to influence how the mediator, the other attorney, or the court assesses your own case. Some attorneys handle a high volume of cases. They frequently come into court late. They frequently have 10 or 15 different cases for one morning. Additionally, attorneys have been known to sometimes misrepresent things to the court. I think it's important when you have a case that is important to you that you hire an attorney that has a good reputation with fellow attorneys and with the courts. I have found over the years that judges and mediators, other attorneys, tend to work better with attorneys who have a good reputation. It doesn't mean that they're going to necessarily slant the case one way or another. However, it does mean that you are going to have an opportunity to present your case in the most effective way that will set forth your ideas, your objectives, and your goals. I maintain an AV rating with Martindale-Hubbell, which is a peer review committee or arrangement. Basically, they survey judges and they survey other attorneys to see what my reputation and the quality of my skills are. An AV rating with Martindale-Hubbell is the highest rating they give. It indicates that I have the highest level of skills and ethical basis. So if you are in need of a divorce attorney and are ready to hire a divorce attorney, John K. Grubb is willing to work with you to offer you time, effort, skills, knowledge, reputation, wisdom, and strategy. And those things we hope will enhance your case and give you a better outcome.